But guys, let's get right into it. I would love feedback as we go because, as I said, this is my first time ever, which gives you kind of like an advantage since it's fresh. I'm not biased. I haven't been sitting in this Dynasty game forever and have these lock mindset values on people. But also, I can understand your hesitancy. Like, why am I listening to this guy? He's never done it. I'm pretty damn good at the redraft stuff. I think I'm going to be intuitive with this, but that's where your feedback is going to come in so helpful, guys. Exactly, Tunes. I know you're already there for the draft. I can't wait to have it. And, of course, anybody out there, if you're willing to give this a thumbs up on YouTube, Facebook, if you're here live, I would love comments, Facebook, all that good stuff, feedback as we go. If you're catching the replay, comment away. You guys know I always answer you guys back. Me or my man CJ will get to you as well. But let's stop the delay here. I know you guys are here for the player rankings. And let's just start at the top. I mean, it's got to be Pat Mahomes right in his own tier. I don't know if that seems crazy given how the quarterback margin has really shrunk with all these runners, that Konami code. But I still think overall it's Pat Mahomes. He's going to be dominating the league till he retires at this point. So you got to have that guy here at the top, pretty much in a tier by himself there. From there, Kyler Murray versus Josh Allen versus Dak. I lean Josh Allen here at number 2 for quarterbacks. Many reasons why. I saw a recent report from Greg Costle, one of my favorite scouts, one of the best eyes out there, talking about how his ceiling, he might be the most gifted physical quarterback he has ever seen as in his years of scouting. And it's just a matter of time before he hits that ceiling. So I'm with him. I love that guy. I trust his evaluations. I think Josh Allen is still just scratching the surface. We saw what he could do when he finally got some good weaponry. Stephon Diggs added there last year. I think he's just, again, that arm talent is only going to continue to get more refined. The leg points are going to be there. So I have Josh Allen number 2. Kyler Murray makes sense at 3, but I am a little bit worried about, is Kingsbury going to be long there? Is he going to last? What happens there? What if Murray decides to go play fucking baseball? I don't think he will. But, I was sitting here predicting that he will, but that risk exists with him. I would prefer, I love Justin Herbert. Now, call me crazy putting him at 3. I think this man's going to throw 50 touchdowns this year and be like that cornerstone of teams for the future. So I really like Justin Herbert. I think I would have a hard time taking him above a Kyler Murray, above a Lamar Jackson. But, right there with Dak, who had that insane start to the year last year, 30 points per game. No team was scoring more touchdowns than the Dallas Cowboys. I think there's a lot of upside there with Dak as well. This is clearly the kind of the tier for me, and that's tricky to sift through. Let me know what you guys think about, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 there. If I'm insane, I really do think Justin Herbert could be good. I think there's a great comment coming in here. My man, Sammy, good to see you, brother. Is Murray coach proof? I would think his coaching situation would only get better if Cliff's fired. Maybe, but remember, Cliff is the guy that, the air raid offense, bringing it in. He made sure to draft Kyler Murray to fit him in the system because of his, college experience in the air raid and whatnot. This is all Murray has played in for the last 6 years of his career going back to college. I wonder, you imagine the new coach would be catering to his players' strengths and all that if somebody does come in, but I can't sit here and say he's QB, coach proof. He's got the legs, he's got the arm, he does it all, so I imagine he would be. But I wouldn't go out and say Kingsbury getting fired would be actually a positive. No. In terms of the next group, I think Burrow. Now, this is ranked in the ECR, so this is the average consensus. So you'll see where I'm a bit different than rankers as I go. I think Burrow at 7, I do love this guy. I think he could throw 40 touchdowns as early as this year with these new, young, exciting talents. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, I think is going to come back even stronger this year. And Tyler Boyd's been so steady. That's going to be money for Burrow, who was on pace for the most pass attempts in the league before he got hurt. I think that recipe continues. I am only worried about the offensive line. I wouldn't rank him above Russell Wilson, who I do think actually belongs in this tier. I know he fizzled down the stretch. I get it. It's frustrating. Why don't they just throw the ball? Why don't they just let Russ cook? I get it. I'm with you. The frustration sucks. Still, it's Russell Wilson, who I think maybe is behind only Pat Mahomes is a pure quarterback in the NFL right now. So give me Russell Wilson there at 7 because I do think they might let him cook this year. I think Sean Waldron, the new offensive coordinator from the Rams, the passing game guy, all the talk is they're pushing the pace. They're using a lot of no huddle. They're becoming more inventive in their concepts and that it's a genius type of system. So I like Russ. I get how frustrating he can be. More so how frustrating Pete Carroll can be. I understand it all. But man, do I love Russell Wilson just as a player. It's hard for me to get off that. And I think is Burrow 7. That's a tricky one because he did look good, but not fantastic while he was out there. So I'm going to bump down Rodgers because I don't think he has too many left in him. I'm going to bump up who I actually have as the number one rookie quarterback this year. That's Justin Fields. I have him above Trevor Lawrence. I am a little bit worried about what Urban Meyer could do to Lawrence's confidence. Already being like, the guy's not ready to start, but he doesn't have to be. Tim Tebow coming in and vulturing shit. Like, Trevor Lawrence makes me a little bit nervous. He seems like the surefire bulletproof prospect. I'm not 100% in on that, though, myself. I think I'd almost rather have Fields than Burrow for the Konami upside. Similar with Trey Lance as well. Like you look at what guys could leap into this by like next year. Who's going to be that next Lamar Jackson? Trey Lance could just be as prolific as a rusher as Lamar is, as a cannon. Plays with Kyle Shanahan. That could all be exciting stuff. But I do really, really like Joey Burrow in his long-term upside too. But I guess I'm just a little higher on some of these rookies right now in Dynasty. I think this class is going to go down as a absurd one. If I knew Jalen Hurts was the starter for the next 4 years, he'd probably be right there at 8. I can't put him in that tier because of that uncertainty. And that's similar to Deshaun Watson, right? Like if he was playing, he led the league in passing yards last year. He'd be right here in this because he's going to be great for every year he plays. But is he going to play this year? Is he going to ever come back from this? Like, yeah, probably. But it's not a guarantee. So I can't take him above some of these more exciting younger prospects. I think Ryan Tannehill is as underappreciated and one of the best dynasty quarterbacks you can get because he falls so late. Man, you give this guy Julio Jones and A.J. Brown, and like, yeah, I get Julio's career isn't too much longer, but man, like that guy is going to always be underappreciated. So I am a little bit higher on Ryan Tannehill, I think, than anybody else. Denny, I see you never did Dynasty. Good to see you, Anthony DiLorenzo. Yeah, it's my first time too, but I'm glad you're here, Denny. Great to hear from you. Been a while. And anybody again out there, comments, feedback as I go, questions, so appreciate it. We'll answer any questions you have, but also let me know what I should be thinking as I go through this list. Because it's tough to do as your first time. You see like how the age is kind of factoring in here. Friday, Thursday, 4 p.m., right before 4th of July weekend. Got to have a beer. I think Zach Wilson might be criminally underrated here. Rodgers probably has like 3 good years left, but then there's the risk. Like if we're talking about the risk of Deshaun Watson not playing, well, it's a very real risk. We don't get Aaron Rodgers this year. What if he just decides like, this is it? They're not going to cave to my demands. Well, see you guys later. Like, would anybody be shocked if that's what we see from Aaron Rodgers? I don't think so. So I think he's got to be a little bit lower than he is on this list. So I'm about 6 lower on him. I'm trying to think like, where do I want to put in a guy like Baker Mayfield, who I don't love, but is young and on an ascending offense and probably the guy for at least the next 5 years. So, that's tricky. Again, maybe a little too high on Ryan Tannehill, but I don't think so. I think he's a stud. I think Zach Wilson is criminally underappreciated, especially given the way he's been getting hyped. He might be as good as any of these guys in this class, and you'll get him 3, 4, 5 rounds later in dynasty drafts. So I still like him. I mean, obviously guys like Brady who have like 1 year left, like you have to keep that in mind, but he's still going to chuck for whatever amount of years he plays. So it's tricky. Like single QB league, it'd be different than Superflex if you just want like a stopgap. I do like Stafford. I think he's got 4 to 5 monster years in him coming up with the Rams. So I'm going to have him a little bit higher, I think. Maybe a little higher up here. Man, I really wish I knew Jalen Hurts was going to pan out and be the starter. Because if so, at 15, I think even just for the upside, I would bump him over Tannehill and go like that. And then let's get to like these guys down here. So these are like all QB1s I'm very confident in if they're starting. I like them. You know, maybe these guys, these rookies take a little longer to develop, but I still like them. Now you're looking at, so again, you see that right there. If you're listening to the podcast too, if you prefer podcast, awesome. Fantasy Fullback Dive, wherever you listen. I appreciate wherever, likes, subscriptions, all that good stuff. Reviews mean the world to us. This one, though, if you're listening to the podcast, it might be better to catch the video so you can actually see the names. I'm not going to just read like 17 straight names that the live viewers are seeing here. So keep that in mind. From there, it's like, does Carson Wentz get revived? Maybe. I think we got like 3 more good ones out of Matt Ryan. And I'm not ready to call it quits on Tua. They've given him the right weapons. They have new offensive coordinators coming in. I could see Tua rebounding, but I don't have enough faith to put him up here with these guys that I feel much better about myself. But yeah, I could see it. Like, it makes sense. I do like Mac Jones. I think he's going to have a nice long career here with the New England Patriots. I think he should be a little bit higher in these rankings. I mean, Matt Ryan could fall off a cliff too. I do like Arthur Smith, though. I think they're going to get some good years in together. And then I think Kirk Cousins belongs in there as well. And now you're looking at, like, this is probably Daniel Jones' last chance, right? So, what's that for him? What do you make of the Saints guys? Like, if Taysom Hill wins the job, he's going to be a QB1. If Jameis Winston wins the job, he's probably going to be a QB1. I'm banking on Winston maybe being the quarterback of the future. I think he could end up being a dynasty steal if he's rated that low in dynasty leagues just because of Sean Payton. Like, in dynasty, I really do love betting on coaches, on systems that have been proven to be successful. I won't be drafting Andy Dalton or Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock. Like, none of that means anything to me. And Cam Newton's on his last, obviously, legs here in New England. I'm going to bump Brady just like because, for however long you have him, you're getting a top 12 quarterback. So I know it might be 1 more year. I know it might be 3 more years. Brady might play for 10. You never know. He did admit he's on like the last legs of his career. But if I'm like in this range and I just want like a surefire guy, he's got to be in there. And I'm also going to add in Ryan Fitzpatrick. I know he might be a 1-year rental. You got to have Big Ben. I know some of these guys might be on their last year, but they're still starters in the NFL, so we got to have them somewhere. So I'm gonna bump up. I am gonna give Sam Darnold a big bump up because I really do think he's gonna turn it around and prove to be one of those dynasty guys that like everybody wishes they still had. So I'm big into Sam Darnold. This is really helpful, Sammy. Good to see you're sticking around. I'm in love with the value of guys like Wentz and Darnold in startups. Yeah. I mean, either one of those guys, like with the arm talents they have, could really pan out. Maybe I'm a little too low on Wentz. The reunion with Reich could be great. I'm absolutely with you there. Do we really think Wilson can succeed in New York? Asked Anthony. I had my doubts, and I still do. I am much more confident after this draft with how they've shaped the line. They've gone all in on that. The weapons they've kind of surrounded him with, and all the reports are this guy is just crushing it. Now, I get it's short season, but I think he could. I am definitely higher on Wilson than I was entering this ranking set over the last hour. Cousins gets no love. Cook, JJ Taylor, exactly. Like he's another one of these, like Ryan Tannehill, Carson Wentz, like those types of guys. He's right there with them. I guess this goes to show, I'm not a believer in Jones or Carr or Goff. Like, I think they're in their last couple legs. So, you know what? I would rather have, like, Ryan Fitzmagic, like, as a 1-year rental. Maybe not over Daniel Jones, who, like, could still have a ceiling. But as long as he's tied to freaking Jason Garrett, I'm worried about him. I am. So, I think you got to keep that in mind. Now, I guess Fitzmagic in a dynasty, like, that's too high. But I just think you're never really going to want to start any of these guys, and you're going to get a year of like service out of Ryan, and maybe multiple if they commit to him. Similar to like Big Ben, like it might be only 1 year, but you might be getting a year service. Now, am I psycho for doing that? You guys again know probably more about Dynasty than I do, but I'd rather have the guy that like I think I'm going to get a couple years of, 1 year even, than these guys that like I don't think are ever going to touch my lineup. Maybe. Oh, I bumped down Carson Wentz by accident. Whoops. I'm right around there, 24. So again, you guys have played startups and Dynasty longer. Comment in now if you're live, or add your questions and comments to the video. I would absolutely appreciate your feedback as we go. But I think this is kind of feeling pretty good about this. Like I'll just put a tier to symbolize how absolute garbage. Like we're not going after Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater. Like they're going to have their quarterback of the future soon enough. Maybe Jordan Love, though. Where's Jordan Love on this list? Just because he's bound to be the next quarterback for the Packers. They're working on that extension with, yeah, Jordan Love should be in here. I think Marcus Mariota should be in this list. Maybe Kyle Trask going to Tampa Bay. Like those weapons could be great, but I'm not a believer in him. I don't think he's going to be an NFL player. But I could get down on Jordan Love being like in there. I could see Marcus Mariota like over Derek Carr who's backing up. Like I like that too. So that's what I got for quarterbacks. Again, keep your questions, comments, all that stuff coming. I see you, Riley, here commenting about where do you think Najee Harris goes? Well, we're going to go on over to running back. So great segue there. I appreciate it. So that's my quarterback rankings. Again, questions, comments on whatever you think about these guys. Is there anyone I'm crazy, too high, too low on? And you can find these all at rotostreetjournal.com. Probably tomorrow they'll be published officially. I'm going to have to go through tonight and really dig in and sift through, make sure I didn't have anything crazy on here. But you can find all these at rotostreetjournal.com or Breed and Feed Fantasy Wolves or in our app, Roto Street Journal. You can just search it there. Those are the quarterback rankings, though. Please let me know what you think, guys, in the comments or live here. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.